Hello everyone. I hope I'm visible and audible to you guys. So yeah, the stream has started and just waiting for folks to join in. And then I think we can start pushing one and one. What's the agenda today? What we are going to discuss today? What's the cohort is about and all? GM. Hi Badal, nicely joining at time. Uh, Today's cohort session is going to be really exciting. We have an amazing folks from the industry. We have Rahul with us from industry on the brand management side. We are going to cover about everything about brand design, brand management, and how to make your brand overall brand image in the market and all. It's going to be really helpful for those who want to raise the grants and funds, and so this is how it's gonna be. And obviously I'm waiting for folks to join in, otherwise I can start the streaming and welcome Rahul sir on stage. uh, okay, I think everyone can start joining, and yeah, I'm just going to share my screen and start the event for you all. You can quickly join in the Google Meet session if you want to talk to Rahul sir. Rahul sir is on Google Meet with us, so if you want to quickly get a chat with him, you can start joining. I'm starting the stream now, removing myself.
I suggest let's wait for that 8:40, and then once we have everyone, let's start. Does that
Yep.
sound good?
Till then, like we can have like a little bit chit chat. If you want to chit chat with Rahul, like you can speak up. You can just unmute your mic and discuss anything you would like. Not anything, but yeah.
Yeah, design focused or a question about design or in that direction or anything creative.
बाकी सर आप बताओ how's life and all as a designer and all.
It's been going good. It's been New Year, like holidays के बाद सब लोग वापस आ रहे हैं, तो work wise it's been much more calmer right now, not that stressful. But I think that will pick up once we get into the whole system in the years. Like पूरा से start होगा, campaigns will get started, reports बन जाएंगे, goals बन जाएंगे, like people will start creating the missions for the next year, and then we'll get too much into the whole design stuff. So base much calmer, much chiller, but hopefully we'll start working and producing more work. So even if you see my Twitter is right now very boring, I don't post much work cause I'm in a very chill mode. So hopefully we'll get back to the work and start posting more.
Yeah. So what is the best part about being a designer in Web3? Like, in just like if you can give a glimpse of like how your day looks like and all and stuff.
Sure. So I won't tell like I won't be able to share what's the best thing about being a Web3 designer, but I'll tell you my reason for getting into Web3. Right. So when I think about web design, I started designing in 2013, 14. Okay, and till then there were so many new design styles, new design terms, new laws were already written and found. Right. So, for example, UX design as a term was coined in 90s, right? So before that, people didn't used to call it that. We didn't have much device and everything. Now, will I have that opportunity again in Web 2 to do that? Is the question. And while with my career, I figured out that that's going to be possible, but it's going to be very tougher because the opportunities and everything is very less right now. And I have to fight way harder, and finding that opportunity is going to take time. But then I saw Web3, which was very young, very new. And I found out, you know what, here I can not only create a good impact on people, like, and also not on small people, but to multiple people's, millions of people who are, right? And that's why it motivated me. And the second thing was, it can help you create legacy, right? If you think about it, this is the first time in my age, like in my journey of life, I have seen that where I am at the early curve, that I have the opportunity to be part of something which can be way bigger in the coming years. And I took that bet and I got into Web3. But that's been my reason and what motivates me every day to work in Web3 design.
Okay, that is quite interesting. Wow. So, what a person who is joining this session can expect from like this session? The person who is joining, like absolute beginner and all. Like, I just want to ask you, like, because you're gonna give this session. So, what's in your mind? How are you visioning this session?
Cool, no worries. So I had to create the slides or design this session in a way that cause it needed to be about branding and brand design. But I have included and I have included something which will clear everyone's mind about Web3 design and or what is design's evolution in Web3 will be. And understanding that concept will help them understand how to design for Web3 based products or blockchain products. Where and what has it been changing, what is different, and what's the base thought process which is different in blockchain and Web3, which was not in Web2 or the design which we already had.
Nice, nice. So I'm gonna give the stage to Rahul. The stage is all yours. Please take the lead.
Cool. Thank you. First of all, everyone who's here, can we have a GM in the chat so at least I know how many people are active and responsive, so I can then keep this more interactive. Okay, I'm seeing some GMs. Okay, they stopped. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, so people are awake because I know this is gonna be dinner time soon. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys, you folks still have the energy to go through and sit to this. Let me present my slides and then we'll start. By the way, I invested 3 of my years of my career into creating page decks and presentations. So that's why every time I get a chance to create slides, I just jump on it. That's my favorite activity to do. And it's also fun. Cool. So we're gonna start with this. Now I'm not able to see you folks right now, so I'm gonna be doing this and that. I don't have the second screen because honestly, it was not looking aesthetic on the setup. I have a screen though. It's back. Cool. So we'll start. So the topic today is decoding branding or brand. But before we jump in, and this is the reason I asked you to be interactive, is I'm gonna show you some brand's name and I'm gonna ask you to put the emotion which comes into your mind when you hear that company or that brand's name. Okay. So we're gonna one by one, I'm gonna share that name and I'm gonna keep that for a few seconds. You write the answers and then we'll go and then we'll talk. The first one is, okay, I'm gonna click here then, yeah. Oh, my introduction thing. Let's just move out of it. By the way, I don't know how many of you know me here, but I'll just give my introduction. I'm Rahul. I currently work as a creative lead in Polygon. I lead their brand and marketing design. Other than that, I also have my own design agency called Design Friends. And I am also into freelancing and helping other Web3 projects through different DAOs. One of it is a super team DAO. So yeah, now let's to the game. When you hear Apple, which is the emotion you feel? Enter them in the chat and we'll go through, like just add them in the chat and we'll go through that. Okay. First one is Apple. The second one is Nike. What is the emotion which comes to your mind? And don't think too much. Whatever you're feeling as soon as you hear this name, and whatever you feel, just write that emotion down on that chat box. What about IKEA? When you hear IKEA, which emotion do you feel? What about Red Bull? What about SBI Bank? Which is the emotion you feel? Like, I know which emotion I feel, and we'll talk about this. But which is the emotion you feel when you hear about SBI Bank? Now let's go back and see the answers. We're gonna go starting lunch break. You see, I showed you 5 brands. Okay, I showed you 5 bigger brands: Red Bull, IKEA, Nike, Apple, 4 and then, but most of the people commented about SBI Bank. That's a part of human psychology. So there's a saying in marketing or advertisement that if your product is good, people won't talk about it or post about it. But if your product is bad, they will. And that's why when we create branding, we want to make sure that we don't promise or we don't say something which promises something else and then we won't be able to deliver it. Now with this game, what I want to try to wanted to say was that we relate to brands like we relate to people, right? If someone like if Apple was a brand, right? Let's say if Apple was a person, which kind of person it would be, right? How it will look, how will it will talk. Like we have all these things in our mind. And the same way we behave with brands, right? And we might feel, okay, you know what, we're just buying that iPhone, just buying iPhone, but no, you are buying for that feel. You're buying for that vibe. And this is what, when we create branding or brand design, we have to keep this in the mind. So this is one of my favorite quote from a book by Martin Numa, which says that a branding is person's gut feeling about a product, service, or organization. And that's why I told you to feel about that. Like, what's your emotion? So another example of it would be me. I've been in the industry for the last 8-9 years, and I've been trying to create my identity or my branding throughout these years. But last year, something clicked with people, and they started seeing me as the purple guy. Started seeing me with the purple color, and I embraced it. And my plan was not to become the purple guy. My plan was not to use purple in everything and make it a part of my identity. But God, it's what people felt about me. It's what people remembered about me. I had to go with that, and that's the same thing which happens with brands. Apple didn't go with that feel of they want to do premium. They can try to do that, but slowly, when you work on that product, and that's why when people come to me and say, "Hey, Rahul, we want to create a brand which will evoke this emotion," I'm like, I can try to evoke that emotion, but I can promise that it will happen. Because until I try and experiment and people give me feedback, I won't know if it's working or not. We might even need to pivot, but that's going to be a part of the process. And as I said, it's not what you say it is, it's what they say it is. For example, if we have SBI, right? I'll go to SBI. I'll search for SBI Stegling. The slogan, with us, you're sure. The banker of every Indian. And then it's been changing. Pure banking, nothing else, nation bank on us, right? These things they say on their logo, they say on their marketing, they say their advertisement. We just go and search for SBI advertisement. Be a part of the legend called SBI. But do you feel this way? No, this is 2021, whether this is latest, not very old, it's a year back. And the emotion has been still same. And I still feel everyone just talk about the lunch thing and the laziness thing, right? So that's what it is. The branding is not about what you say it is. As we can say we are legend and everything, but it's what about people say it. That's why when you're creating a branding or even people, okay, let me get back to with the design part. It's not, even if you're not a designer, right? Let's say if you're a person, you can still use these rules and this applies to you as well. You can say, hey, I'm awesome, I'm awesome, I'm awesome. But if your action doesn't do that, or if your vibe is not that, people will say something and it will become your brand identity or your tagline, something like that, right? The same way we give nickname to people. Like nicknames are not something which people wants or they by themselves choose. We give them that names, right? That's how branding also works. You can say we are this and that, but nobody cares until you work on that and make them feel that. So the bigger question, why branding matters, right? People, so I've been fighting this battle since years when my freelancing clients or my clients come to me, or even people from other division comes like, hey Rahul, I can use another color than purple. Like, why do I need to, even if it's for Polygon's branding, why do I need to go with purple? I can just use black or white or any other color. I mean, we are going to talk about the product. People will listen to the product, why this color matters. And then I tell them, that this matters because this differentiate us from everyone else. Right now in Web3, you can ask anyone when they hear purple. If they know me, they'll think of me. If they don't know me, they'll think of Polygon. Not because nobody else has been using purple. They have been using, but we have been hammering it. We have been using it in every single one of our posts. That made us differentiate. That may differentiate us with everyone else. Another example of it would be you might have heard about the joke that Web3 is about gradients. People just put gradients on the product and call it a Web3 product. But in Polygon, if you see, we use this solid purple. So it's already different than what people are already doing existing products, right? And that's why I feel that branding matters, and you also should work on that in the starting phase of your career, or even if you're making a product, focus on that. Next time, whenever you go out to a mall, to a store, you'll notice one thing, that most of the products which are on the mid range, right? So, for example, let's say if you're going to buy soap, right? Mid range soaps, which people can afford, will all look in a single theme. They will all have their swoosh, they'll all have the flowers and everything. But premium, because now they need to stand out and they can't put more stuff on it. Medium range people, like brands, have put everything which is to put on the soaps, they have done that. So what premium or what people want to differentiate does, they remove stuff, they minimalize, they clean it, they focus on one thing. So I think Dove is a great example. If I go and search for a soap brand, just drop a soap brand in the chat, like which you want to search for. Anyone? I'm gonna wait. I told you this is gonna be interactive, and I'm gonna ask you questions every time. We have Fiamma. Let's go Fiamma. I'm assuming Fiamma is a mid-range brand soap. Yeah, Fiamma. Yeah, Fiamma. That's a good example. See, everything which is post is there. And then if I go to Dove, this is what Dove does. Now you see this image, and then you see where is this image. Now in a shelf where all these soaps are stacked, you see this one. Now, even if you don't want to buy it, even if you don't know the brand, but it will stand out. And it's good. Mixing is also good. People who wants so this brings it makes you stand out, but this also brings risk. Now they're gonna notice you more. So until you have done work on your brand identity and strategy, you won't be able to build on that. People noticing on that, right? You won't able to have any profit from that. And that's why, like when you work with, I work with my freelance client who are newer in packaging, and they say, "Here, Rahul, we have this new product. We don't know if people will trust it or not." I say, you know what? Let's design it like Fiamma. Let's go to the mall, see all the soaps. Let's design it like that. Because this is not sending out, this is mixing in. Because that will also build trust, right? So it's not always good to do that. It always depends on the type of what's your goal. But branding can help you stand out. So keep that in mind. Now, coming back to the next thing, which will be again, I just wrote this, break the barrier of rationality. This is a quote again from the same book, that people who rationalize, okay, you know what, nobody will pay 80K for a phone. It's a phone, right? People pay. I paid, right? Nobody will pay 3K for a armrest. It's a bird. But people pay. What is about the branding? It makes them stand out. There are so many products around you also, which you might have thought, if you go break their elements, break the whole product, you'll find out, you know what, this is not worth this much. But you did because it had a brand name on it, and that's what branding will help you do. Again, it will help you create an emotion connection to your users, your customers, your clients. When a good example of it would be sneakers. People are crazy about their sneakers. They feel the emotion like they feel they with their pets. Like they just keep it, like, you know, they put on shelf, right? Shoes on shelves on display. They clean it every day. I have seen some crazy folks, like I have crazy friends who talk to their sneakers. I don't know why, but they do. They talk to them like it's their pet. So Because you have that brand identity and you have that branding, expect people also do that. They go crazy on their products. And now this thing is again my favorite topic to talk about is that whenever my friends think, I tell them, you know what, let's do branding, and they say, you know what, this is sham. People just 20 years started this because they wanted money and they wanted to charge designers wanted to charge us more. But then tell us, you know what, let's go back. It's not something new. It's really old. And now when I show you this, you will also feel, you know what, it's right in a sense. I'll show you that. Do you know what these are? These are seals. So if you remember, like you might, if you come from tier 3 or tier 2 villages or cities, you might have seen people used to brand their live animals, cows, buffaloes, and everyone, right? That was the branding which they used to put on that product, so the people know that okay, this pet belonged to this person, right? But this is 4,500 years ago, when people they didn't have logos, people didn't have boards, but they still have these seals which told, okay, you know what, this person belongs to this tribe, this person belongs to this organization. So this logos and branding have been that old. Now we see them in a different light because now we have emotion and everything connect with it, but it has been there for years. Sorry. Now this can be a little bit political, like this can be a bit conflictual, but I feel regions also are also like brands, right? You see a sign and you connect with it. You have products for it. You have taglines in every religion. You have this. So if you compare it, it is also there. So it's so old. If you have to create an analogy, you can do that by comparing religion to products and brands. So if you make your company or your product or your brand as like it's a religion, people will go, IKEA is a religion. People who buy IKEA, they just buy IKEA, nothing else. There's another brand for t-shirts or something. I forgot the name of it. Vitalik wears that. That brand, people have been going crazy on that brand. People just buy that brand t-shirt. It's like a religion for them. Like they just follow, they just wear that brand. Is that brand paying them? No, they are still buying this thing. But they do that because the branding, the positioning has made it feel like religion. It made it feel like so love that they invested too much into it. And now they are just too much in love with that. Now I break branding into three things. First of all, one is brand strategy. Now this is not something which visual designers do. You might have seen people put these things, right? So you go to Dribble. Okay, I gotta add another. By the way, Dribble is a website where UI designer used to post their work. I'm not sure about anymore, but they used to. Now, when you think about brand identity or branding, you might have just think about, you know what, this is branding, just getting a logo and creating assets for it, but it's not. There are so many things in branding which you need to talk about or learn when you create a product or design a product. One of them is brand strategy. This comes before the brand. How do you know where do you want to position your brand? How do you know which colors to use? How do you know which even tone to use, right? So for example, Zomato has a humorous tone, right? So we'll break down that in the future. I'll just walk through it. So brand strategy is longer plan. It's very simple. You figure out what your brand stands for. You create a strategy to achieve that. And out who your brand is, what does your brand do, and why does it do. Now, this why is really important. Because that will not only give you as a designer confidence to design it, or as a founder the confidence to sell it, but also give you communications. It will also give you taglines. It will also give you ad copies and everything which you can write on your campaigns and everything. It will be all single channel. It will be all cohesive because your why would be clear and you know how to say it and what is important. Again, same exercise. Let's say what if your company was a person. Like if you have a product, think about a person. If you want to create a brand identity for it, think of it like a person. Think how it will behave. Think what colors will it wear. Think what type of clothes will it wear. Think how it will talk. This all will give you. So if you get an example, if you assume how that person, which is your brand, will talk, that will become your voice of communication in your product. So if I made a company and I thought, you know what, this person would just talk in a very formal way, my whole communication for that product will also be very formal. But now, a person who is wearing casual wear can't talk that formal, right? I don't expect a person in a t-shirt or in a shorts talk like a butler talks, right? Like in that heavy English and all that stuff, right? Because that doesn't match. So then your visual also needs to match your voice, and that's why this exercise always helps you. If you're getting confused, if you don't know how to design your brand or how to choose a logo or do anything, just think of this and you'll get an answer for it. The second part is banality. Now this is the part where we comes to the visual side of it. Now you have here in mind, in your mind, you have clear idea what your brand is going to be, how it's going to be, and why you are doing this. Now it's time to put that into visuals. Now it's time to put that in people, on screens and everywhere. Again, that it's a visible element of the brand which you shows to people, and most of the people will interact with this part of your brand to get to the strategy part of it, right? I see this logo, and this is the part of the brand identity. I see this logo, and you know what? It's good. That's how I interact with the brand. Logos, fonts, patterns, marketing materials. So one pages you get. A good example of it would be if you see Zomato. I said Zomato, and hopefully, I think you folks are hungry, so I'm going to show you the food pictures. But this red color is part of the brand identity, right? This logo used to be, but they changed. But this font now has become a so big part of their identity that they can't change this. Because all their hoardings, all their billboards have been in this style. And people, oh, sorry, I'm going to type very slow. Yeah, thanks. Have been in this design style, and now people just see this and they know, you know what, this is going to be Zomato. If I remove this logo, you still will know this is Zomato. Because no other company does this. See, it says Zomato does this. So it's a visual part of your product, your branding, and your brand. So as I said, visual comes to the clothes, right? So you just think about, like, if I see Zomato's person right now, because they have obviously already put an image in my mind when it comes to Zomato. I see a person wearing red and black because I see the delivery folks. But if you go anywhere, right, if you see Apple, you'll always think of it either in black and white clothes or pure black clothes. That's how you're going to visualize. Subway, yellow and green. Those are the clothes, right? Which you see. In Apple, you might see them in three-piece suit. You won't see them in shorts and t-shirts because that's what they've not been projecting, and not we have been accepting that. Brand messaging. Third part of it, very simple. Now, once you know who your brand is, what its long-term goal is, how it looks, what it will say is become easier. So when I told about the voice part, this covers that. And here you already have a brand tone. So that is going to be how your person talks. Does that person use slang? Does that person talks in a casual tone? Does that person talks in a friendly tone? Does this person is too technical? Right? And how does that person communicate? For example, there are a few brands which I would communicate on WhatsApp, but there are a few brands which I just want to talk to on email. Right? So even those tools also matters. Right? So if you are someone who is building a messaging tool, WhatsApp and everything is good. But if you're building something which is finance, I expect more formality. That is not because they've been saying or I as a person wants it. We have been trained. We have been seeing this stuff for years around us in life. And that's why we have that in mind. As I said, what your voice and tone the person have, you assume it. Now this is gonna be a fun game. So I want all you to enter a person. Think of a Bollywood star, think of a Hollywood star, think of a comic character. What will Polygon look like a person? I'm gonna just answer your questions, or answer in chat, and we'll go into that. But I hope you all are here, right? Because I'm not hearing anything. Just enter, like, if Polygon was a person, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of Polygon, but if you are, if Polygon is a person, who it will be. You can type on the right side of the chat box. Okay. No worries. I think I'll take that bullet. No, I'm just kidding. Not Deadpool. I just thought it would be funnier to have that. For me, when I think of Polygon, I think of these two personality mixed because I feel Polygon is tech innovative, where we focus on innovation and everything as a brand, but it's also trustworthy like Captain America. I feel we can pick up the hammer of we can pick up Mjolnir, right? We can be less trustworthy. We can have been that. So this is what how I visualize my brand to be, and that's when I design. I try to keep it like this. The copy and everything kind of goes with that. Think about your brand and you will also have this answer. Once you do this exercise, believe me, you will have clarity on what your product or brand can look like and how it can become a brand. Or if you work with a brand, you can also think and figure that part out. Now the main question. What is different in Web3? I mean, this is still same in Web2 and Web3. So what is different in Web3 is trust. I'll tell you how. So in Web2, you have this big central authority which is always there. You forget your password, you fuck up, no worries. Send them a mail, they'll recover your password. You have your email, you still have your social media profiles, everything, all good. But in Web3, you don't have that. In Web3, you don't have to trust anyone. And here comes one of my favorite line that, oh, okay, I don't know what happened, where that line is. I don't know where that line is, but we'll go to that line. What the line was that as designers, we have to design trust around that trust less technology. The design is that you don't have to, when products of blockchain are, they do not have to trust a person. You don't have to trust someone. Technology is going to do its part. But how do you do that? Right? It's already like we are already telling people, you know what, don't trust anyone, double check everything, and then we are designing our brands with trust. How do we do that? So for this, I have a good example, but we have to go back into history again. The example would be this. How many of you know that years back, 100 years back, people used to trade in gold. They only used to choose, okay, gold is the real currency. We don't care about anything else. Because if you see a note, right, if you see a currency, it's paper. But the trust that someone else will pay you that or pay you the worth of that amount, you use that. Now that has been changing. We had gold, then we had currency, if we had notes. Now we have cards, right? What are exactly cards? When you're using cards, did you pay them actual money? No, you just technology send them a number, right? When you get a SMS like 500 rupees cut from your bank or you're paid by a credit card, it's a message on your screen. But you trust the banks, you trust the credit card and do that. Now in Web3, we have to design that, create that trust again. And how do we do that? That's a slower process. Again, comparing Web2 to Web3 design is very weird and I feel strong because Web2 design has been here for years. Right? So it's like comparing a mature person to an infant. And Web2 design very new, even always experiment. So again, to summarize it, here are three parts of branding: strategy, identity, and messaging. Strategy is again why, what, why. Then identity is how it looks. Brand messaging is how it speaks. Let's go for question, folks. Thank you, folks, for hearing. Thank you. Grahil, can you hear me? Am I audible? Cool. If anyone has any questions, do drop them, and hopefully this added value to the knowledge you already have or had. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. So I think in that case, again, I don't think any design can help you get grants because that's a whole different. Like there's multiple factors or elements to getting grants and getting money from someone. But one thing which can help is differentiate how your product looks, and that means having a cohesive brand identity throughout your website and your product design. So, for example, now this is a bias. So, people who don't know bias are things which you already have with us, we assume, and they affect our decisions, right? So, stereotypical joke would be if I want to like Indian is good with math, right? That's a stereotypical bias which people have in West. Now we also have, as humans, have this bias. The biggest one I feel is that when you see a person, right? Let's say you have two persons who have same knowledge, same money, but one person is coming to an investor meeting wearing shorts and t-shirts. Another one is coming in a three-piece suit. Now there are people who will be open-minded and don't have the biases, and they'll talk to both. But there would be majority of people who try to talk to the suit guy first or suit person first, because they have their bias that okay, this person says about it. The person dressed for this, right? So this same thing is gonna happen when you create your design or product, right? Developers used to create very boring looking, broken designed products because it felt like it was good in the early stage, but now your product needs to like it has done some work. So easiest way of doing this is use a template. They have like use a kit. They have all the basic things. It is safest option, and that way your brand will look like what it has done some work and it will look more presentable. That will obviously help everyone differentiate and stand out from other product which were going to be crappy. Sorry. Sure, let me check. Yeah, okay. Ayan is asking would like to know what type of person were you thinking while designing for Polygon. So Ayan, Polygon is a very big brand, so not I'm not the only one who designs for it, and I can't choose for the type of person because for every different campaigns we have different mindsets, we have different visualizations. But the what I have been in my mind is always that we are people first company. We focus more on developers and folks, right? Focus more on people and make the technology so that people can use it, not train people so they can use the technology. And that's why when we say that the goal is to create mass adaptation, it is with creating the technology so usable that anyone can use it. They don't need to know blockchain. That's my goal with this. And yeah, so I hope that answers your question. What other variables that can affect our product, our brand as a market is dynamic and highly competitive? But yeah, I would like to get more, like, can you elaborate more on this? What does you have in mind? What are the variables or which you feel what affection will happen to your products and brand? And when you say the market is dynamic and highly competitive, what do you mean by that? Vittal? Okay, I think Vittal is not responsive. But to answer this question, from my understanding, what it is that the market can be competitive. The market can always change. There always will thing be. But the biggest thing is that if you keep your identity cohesive, if you are who you are, the market can change, but you will always people will always remember you. Right? Good, bad, bull, bear, doesn't matter. Your identity will stand out because you've been consistent with it. And the one thing which I tell everyone is like my clients is that when you have budget for brand design, have budget for marketing also. Because you can create a good brand, but you need to hammer it. You need to put this in people's mind. I mean, one example is me being the purple guy. Like I've been hammering it in people's mind for years now. So even if the brand market change, people don't need designers anymore, but I can still bank on that identity. So hopefully that answers your question. Cool. This looks like fun. Anyone else? Okay. Sorry, there was some background noise. Can you, no, can you just repeat the question, please? Vinay? Hmm. Ah, so there are a few laws of UX, right? And one of my favorite one is that people already have a set behavior. Right now, if you give this to a newer kid, if you give this to an old person, they know that double tap means liking. Correct. Now that took Facebook years to develop, or Instagram years to develop, right? When you design for older people or talk about wallet connect, I feel we shouldn't have wallet connect because that behavior is going to be too tough to teach people. I mean, we want to educate them, but we don't want to give them a new behavior which takes years to learn, right? So what we want them to do is design like this is where technology comes and designer is going to follow through it. Till now, then we have to find ways that we don't include or make the onboarding flow that easier, that connecting wallet doesn't feel like a chore or task, right? And in future, hopefully, there will be technologies which will let us use the 3 app without connecting our wallets or having some other ways of using it, and then we can design according to it. But till now, if you want to do that, remove that barrier because that fraction is just going to add. Because what is your goal? Do you want people to like? Do you want your our parents to use the 3 wallets, or do you want them to use your product? It should have a specific why, right? It should have a specific result. Then, if you clear about the result, focus on that. Remove everything else is extra. Your goal is to get that person from point A, which is getting into app, to point B, which is what you want them to do. Just have that, and you'll be clear. Yeah, I have few reserved websites. I'm gonna send them towards you. I'm just gonna paste them on chat. These are some links which people have been posting on, and then you can go and read on that. Let me post. Yeah, yeah. Just give me a second. No, just give me a second. Uh, I'm gonna paste this in the chat, and yep, here are some website which you can get like read to understand more about the website design. And here are some Medium articles which will also help you. Just Google them and you'll find the Medium article. Now, yeah, but the last question about color combination, but that depends on your brand. Some brands have single color combination, some have 7, 8 different colors. Some had multiple gradients, so that depends on the brand and what kind of vibe you want to go with. That's not fixed or there's no rule for it. Yeah, right. There would be OSs. So, like we have Solana OS. We have heard that Ethereum is working on a OS of itself. Again, I have heard. I don't know for sure, but hopefully that is going to be case soon, and we'll have that. So that's going to be the because we are so early. Tech is gonna develop itself, and we're gonna follow and be designed for that. That's why it's fun because you don't know what's gonna come tomorrow, and it will have something which you don't know, and you don't now one of your problem is solved. I mean, I don't know if any platform like that, but for me, it's been about communities. You're finding DAOs, like Super Team DAO is a good example. If you join that, you can post that, hey, I want to build this, a developer open to help me out. They would be. MakerDoc is similar one of them, right? You go there, post that, hey, I need help. People will help you out. So I've been seeing communities which does these kind of things, but not aware about any product or platform. For bounties, the best place. I'm gonna paste jobs list in the chat, and you can get find bounties here. I mean, there are two which I would obviously say. Acme Jobs at Polygon is a good place where you can find full-time jobs for designer, developer, everyone. And then Super Team Earn. Again, great job. I made my first crypto dollar from there. So both of them. The list is in the chat. So if you want, you can copy and find those again.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a really uh, tricky question. Like, you are free to answer, and if you are free to say no, but I just want to ask, like, what are the uh, highest premium that you have ever charged? Like, if you are comfortable for a brand design or something like that.
So in Web2 it used to be very low. But in Web3, you start by 5K, 10K dollars, and then it goes depends on the clients and everything.
5K, 10K dollars for one client.
One client, yeah.
Guys, Rahul is hella rich. So
I say you can charge. I didn't say I got it though, but say you can charge.
so if anybody is planning to kidnap him, please
but,
let me know.
no,
I am
but
in the
bull market right now. Right now, getting a job is tougher.
Yep. So yeah, it's basically like brand design is also like a great industry to like make your career. But I just want to ask, like, how do you use DALI and other platforms in your advantage?
Similar to having any other tool to your advantage. How do you use it? Like you find their place in your workflow and then implement it. For example, I've been using DALI, I've been using ChatGPT, I've been using Stable Diffusion, Mid Journey to create gradients, to create background graphics, to create visuals like PNGs,
like,
3D assets.
I just want to ask, like, if you can give us a demonstration, like it would be great, like for 5 minutes if you have time.
I don't have exactly like I don't have my credits anymore.
Oh,
I have to recharge them. But what I can do is I can show you one example of where my friend used this like Midjourney to create a poster which he wanted to create, and he didn't have good photos, so you used Midjourney to create that photo and then create a poster out of it.
okay.
Let me just find that in 2 minutes.
Cool. Nice.
Comment. Yeah.
So, like currently,
So
you do only Web3 stuff, or you also like have Web2 clients in your pipeline?
I don't do Web2 clients anymore because not like no nothing against them. It's just that I've been focusing on my own agency and products. So it's better to have a clear mindset and then work on something than doing everything. So here's an example. So this is a journey generated art, which is like you can read the prompt here. Nike Air Force One, all white and black with hyper realistic spotlight, high detail, right? This is what we got, and the person made like my friend made this poster from it, which is this. See,
Damn.
so this is how you use it according like to your advantage. You use like in plug into your workflow. And once you do that, it will be easier for you to use it for your advantage. And again, you gotta skill up, because there are, like, people say that AI will eat our jobs. It will to an extent, but it will also force us to skill up our game and try to utilize these tools into our job so that we can do better work than other people who are not using these tools.
So do you have any any stuff that you have created from DALI, or like any other stuff like you can show, like this can be, so that folks can get a better idea, like this can also be generated through AI, because most of the folks doesn't know what DALI and what ChatGPT is.
I think that would be a very, like, yeah, I think that's going to be a very different topic altogether. What I can do is, like, you can see obviously on Twitter, you're gonna see these posts in future, because I'm gonna get content on that and post these works there. But right now we create, like, one of my friend Nate, I think, made a thread about it. I can share that.
So guys, you can just follow Rahul. Like he posts all this amazing crazy stuff. Rahul, you can also share your Twitter and all.
Yeah, I can share, but let me share some work which has been done by AI. So this is a NFT project which we helped write recently. And this all NFTs are generated by AI, by the way. I just shared in the chat.
Yep.
Yeah, I also make fun of my friends through AI. Like, that's been a very funny thing. Like, I do that.
Yeah, what the fuck AI?
Yeah, we did that also.
Yeah.
Here's all the sets which I've made through AI. You can see this. There are also design, like, people are creating UI design from Midjourney. You can do that too. Here, I'm putting them all in the chat. Hopefully that they will help.
Well,
cool. Gail, do you have any other questions?
Just want to say, like, these all are amazing. So guys, you can also use AI as your advantage, as Rahul has said. But yeah, if you have any questions and all, you're free to ask. You can unmute your mic, or you can just pin it in like Q&A tab. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap it up this session. How to use DALI? How to use DALI?
Rudran's great question. I think we will laugh about Gail. Stop. DALI is a website, and then you can go to DALI by open and you can log in. But the thing is that you need access, so you'll have to wait for waitlist right now. And after a few months, you get access. But it's pretty simple. The way it works is, let me check if I have some prompt left. If I have, I would show you how to use it. So just go to OpenAI and you will find, so most of the stuff which you see in the DALI is done by OpenAI, ChatGPT is done by OpenAI, and you'll find this work. Let me yeah, I have points. Let me show you DALI, how to use DALI, and let's create.
Guys, get ready to see the magic.
By the way, I have a kid, so I use this to create a photo of him as a vampire. I mean, you can see all the experiment I did. But what DALI does is, this is how you check DALI. So when you get to DALI, you see this prompt, and what you do is, you just go in and write what you want to see. For example, let's say I want to see a person flying in space in Van Gogh art style. I'll see what, let's generate this art. I just generate it, and it will start creating that art automatically by itself. It takes some time, but yeah. See? Van Gogh style. And let's say I want that into cyber futuristic. So just write down what you need and it generates that art.
Nice.
And this is also a surprise because you all don't know what you're gonna use this for. This is good. You can generate more variation of it. Just click on variation and it will generate variation out of that for things. I have generated multiple stuff. I have actually used one of the funniest things you can do with DALL-E is you can create stuff where you can expand your body and create t-shirts and all that stuff. I'll show you that. Also, think we did fun exercise. See, more variation of that art. I use this to create a person. Like for example, this I did. Like look at this art now. All generated through AI. Nothing like I don't know how to sketch this. Chessboards, cyber vibe chessboards. Everything is there. You experiment and you find out. So DALL-E is fun that way. But if you can sketch, please learn to sketch. Hope that answer the question. Thanks, Rudansh.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a question. So you said that you use Midjourney DALL-E to create grading. So could you show some of your work that you did and if you could do a design breakdown for it? Like I posted the question in chat as well, but I guess you missed it.
No, I read it. So right now, most of the stuff I've done is in pipeline. It's not launched right now. So I won't be able to show you right now, but I'm gonna post it in a few weeks in my Twitter profile. I think Grail has kindly shared that profile, and you'll be able to see there.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Anyone have any other doubt? Or I have shared the link. You can just connect with Rahul. If you have any problems regarding, you can DM him. I hope like DMs are open.
Yeah, they are open.
So like if you want to like learn about anything about design or you want to ask anything or if you want to connect in general, you can just feel free to text Rahul and he will surely reply of your questions. So yeah, Rahul, thank you so much for coming and sharing such great insights. And yeah, and let's keep this moving and see you in more such session. We have
Thank you, Grail. Thanks everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, Devansh has said something. I can sketch, but I'm not good at conceptualizing. Okay, so I guess Devansh, you can just practice it, or you can just take the help of AIs because if you type the same stuff like write a sketch, painting of. If you have any idea, just type anything in DALL-E and you can just easily get something out of it. Yep, Dinesh and couple of more folks from the meet would be there. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. And we are gonna wrap in like 1 minute. So see you and have a great night.